Welcome, welcome, welcome to New York's Divine Channel. You can have it all. We are in 195 nations worldwide, bringing this topic to you today of your soul contract. Yes, what is your soul contract? Awaken to what you are wired to do in your life. I know that when I found out that there was such a thing as a soul contract, I was really flipped out about it because I wanted to know what is my soul contract, especially because it was during my time where I was having my spiritual awakening. I had just found out that I was having a spiritual awakening. I thought I was going nuts, and that I was seeking for a understanding of what my soul purpose was. So if you're like me, or like I used to be 10 years ago, probably even maybe more like 12 years ago, and you are right on that path of understanding your soul purpose, understanding your soul contract, your soul lesson, you're in the right place today, because we are going to be talking about the fact that it's not just that we have a soul purpose. That's the thing that pretty much has become mainstream in today's world. I know maybe a decade ago, that was the new thing to talk about and understand, and it was the buzzword. Now it seems to be a very well understood thing that we do have a soul purpose. We still have a lot of people who are looking to understand what theirs is. And I know that I have a lot of people in my academy and my agency who are just getting certified right now and trained to become psychic medium readers, healers, and do automatic writing and be able to perform sessions for their own clients and, of course, for their own life. And now what I'm introducing to you is the understanding that above and beyond all of the soul purpose stuff is the soul contract. Yes. And it is a deeper level of understanding. So some people don't like that concept because they feel like, well, wait a minute. I don't like the idea that my life is already written for me. I thought I was here to discover my life and make it what I want, and free will and all of that. And we do have free will, and we can discover who we are and make it what we want. The interesting thing is, though, sometimes we hit a bunch of brick walls. We hit glass ceilings, brick walls, and we get banged around in life, and we fall down. We try to pick ourselves back up. We dust ourselves off. We keep on going, and we start searching for more answers as to how to become our best self, our healthiest self, happiest self, wealthiest self, and really live a beautiful, healthy, happy life, right? And when you are trying to get to a certain place. You have your goals, right? You've got your list of goals, you've got everything that you're working toward, and you seem to be not accomplishing one or two of them, maybe even more than one or two, where it feels like you've tried a number of things, many, many things. And you can go ahead, raise your hand, put notes in the chat line if you'd like to communicate with me. I would love interaction with all of you. And anybody who wants to come on video, feel free to do that as well. I know we'll get to our interactive part at halftime where we'll shut the recorder off and we'll be able to talk with the people who are here live today, and that the first part here is recorded. So feel free to join in, though, at any time to interact, okay? I know a lot of us, getting back on the topic of your soul contract, because that's what we're covering today for those of you who just jumped into the room. And what is your soul contract? And awaken to what you are wired to live your life for, okay? So here's the deal. We did accept a soul contract, and sometimes we've accepted more than one when we reincarnated and came into this life. Now, if you would have talked to me 15 or 20 years ago, I would have said BS to that because I didn't really understand anything about past lives. I didn't really believe in them. And I wasn't raised to. Being born in a Roman Catholic family, I'm Sicilian, Italian, and Saudi Arabian, and I was raised traditionally with basic Christian beliefs. However, over the years of going through a lot of things in life, I ended up hitting some brick walls and having some really hard times and really looking for answers. So if you are there today in your life right now, or you know somebody that's hitting some brick walls and looking for answers, then let them know about this show. They can go in and watch the recording later. It's all going to be there for you to be able to study, take notes. And those of you who are here live right now and you know that this is for you, get out your notebook, please. Get out your pen, because here we go. The bottom line is that when we were sitting around the board of directors table in heaven with all of our soul family, with divine, with God, working on creating our new incarnation in order to achieve our soul lessons and our soul purpose, we also accepted a soul contract. And here's why: because you're going to come to planet Earth, right? You're going to learn, either you came here to learn compassion. You might have come here to learn an even exchange of energy. You have to give as much as you receive, or you have to receive as much as you give. I meet a lot of people that their challenge is they're not willing to receive as much as they give. And that's what gets them out of balance. And then that can be just as dangerous and harmful as if you're an over taker. Okay. So, those are like the narcissists in life, the people who all they want to do is take, take, take. They never want to give. Who knows somebody like that? I'm laughing because I know we all have at least one or two that we've had to overcome in life, is the narcissist. But generally speaking, we don't look at it as that if we overgive, that would be just as bad as if we were to overtake. But it is, because it'll put you out of balance. It'll make you sick. You won't be healthy. You won't be healthy emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and then it'll catch up to you physically. So that's how sickness goes down. Well, guess what? There's another thing, and that is when we're not following our soul contract. So if you are dealing with weird illnesses, okay, like thank you, Jessica, she loves the pink. If you're dealing with weird illnesses, like things that aren't going well for you physically, or things that aren't going well for you mentally or emotionally or spiritually, the deal is that you are actually not on soul contract, because we start breaking down when we're not executing what we came here for. So let's put the whole story together. So on your paper and pen, I want you to draw a picture of a star, and then put one under it and one on the top of it. So it looks like a triangle. So it's like a star, and a star. So you've got a triangle of stars. It's like a pyramid, right? So the star at the very top, put the word soul contract in there. And then the star on the bottom left, put soul lesson. And then bottom right, soul purpose. Okay, so your soul lesson and your soul purpose are the platform. However, how you're going to drive that platform of learning your soul lesson and accomplishing that in your lifetime and accomplishing your soul purpose, really executing what your divine calling is, what you came here for, is that you're going to work to achieve your soul contract. So that's how the triangle works. Okay. And it's the body, mind, spirit contract, the body, mind, spirit triangle. And it's important for you. Thanks, Ray Ray. It's important for you to really get to the bottom of what your soul contract is, so that things go smooth and easy for you. So people who are going, geez, I want to live my life with ease, joy, and grace. I'm tired of overcoming things and hurdles and problems financially, or problems relationship wise, problems romantically, or problems in my career, or wherever it is. Now, here's the exciting part. Get ready for the good news. The good news is that when you are executing your soul contract, your life goes very smoothly. Doors open, You're healthy, you're happy, positivity is all around you. You're making positivity, you feel it, it's everything that you're experiencing, and you feel better. You get excited. You're not feeling terrified anymore about different things. And so those are kind of the indicators. And sometimes we have little pockets in our life on our journey that are going like that. And then it's like, oh, everything's going great. Do. Yeah. Woohoo. I made it. And then all of a sudden there's some kind of weird thing that happens and we're not feeling that way anymore. And I've had people come to me in my private practice at Camille Conti Agency, or they've come to me into my academy, the Academy of Divine Rich CEO, and they've said, Camille, I think I have a black cloud over me, or like a dark soul over me, or something is going on because things aren't working anymore. Things are breaking down. Like my house has problems now. My body has problems. I've got this or that. And they named the different physical things going on, right? And they feel like, I don't know what it is, but I'm off track because it's not working now. And I got to get back on track. I want to be back on track. I want to be feeling good again. I want to be healthy physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. How do I get there? What do I need to do? What is the secret recipe? And so the job is that you have to find out what your soul contract is. Now, I do remember when I found this out, I was just like, oh, thank God. There's something else to find out, and that's going to help put the whole picture together and bring me to the ability to be able to live a healthy, happy, wealthy life and spread that around the world and spread more healthy, happy, wealthy to everyone else. I'm like, oh my God, because I had gotten to a point where I thought, I've read every single book. I've read every naturopathic healing book. I've taken a lot of training and courses. I've gotten certified in many, many things. And it still wasn't all clicking. Who feels like that? Who feels like, geez, there's another piece of the puzzle. I know there's another piece of the puzzle for me. Does anybody feel that way? Just put like a thumbs up or a yes in the chat box. Okay. Well, then you know exactly what I am talking about. Okay. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So would I be able to tell you in 15 minutes how to know what your soul contract is? I would love it if I could. And I did ask Divine, because as a Divine channel, I did ask, you know, are you willing to release a recipe to me today that I can give to everyone else? Because as a Divine channel, that is what I do. I ask for the answers. I channel them to you. I give you the information coming through, the latest and the greatest, most updated. And today, July 17th, 2024, I'm giving you the latest and greatest updated information. And I do really, I feel excited about how point on the readings are that I do for people, for my clients. And many of you are in the room today, and I have gotten a lot of positive feedback on how very accurate the information is. So I did say, can we just lay out a formula? And what I was given is no. They gave me what they did give me that I can do to help you, so that you can discover what your soul contract is, and so that you're able to really awaken to what you've been wired to be able to do. And the only reason why we would want to do, because I know some people, they're like, well, I don't care what my soul contract is. I just want to be healthy, happy, and wealthy. And I want my family and friends to be too. And I want the world to get better. I just want the world to be healthier and happier and wealthier. And wealthy isn't only money, by the way. We know wealthy is abundance in all things. And, sometimes the most important abundance is health. I mean, that's more important than anything else. You can't buy happiness with money all the time. That's just one extra nice reward, but it isn't everything, right? So let's be honest here. We're talking about abundance in all positivity, in all areas. So here's the deal. It is important to understand that when you do figure out what your soul contract is, that it will be the divine timing, it'll be divine order, and it will be that it is for you to execute. Because once you know, you can't go back and deny it. You can't go backward and go, well, F that. I'm not going to do it. I don't like that. I can't believe I signed up for that. Because in the beginning of your incarnation, when you're still up in heaven at the board of directors table, and you are sitting with all your soul family members, and you're figuring out, okay, you'll be the mother, I'll be the father, and you'll be the daughter, and you're going to be learning compassion. You're going to be learning how to be wise with your money. Okay, I'm going to be learning how to be able to juggle it and balance it all. I'm going to learn how to actually be good at career and family and self-health. Because, sometimes you see people, and since this is a Win-Win Women network, and this is a television network that goes into 195 nations worldwide for women, I'm going to talk to you as women right now. Sometimes we women, and I speak as a woman myself, we're doing really well in one or two areas, but then in the other area, we're not. So sometimes you see that there's a woman that is very successful in their career. She's doing very well in her career. And she's also doing very well in her love life. She's got a wonderful marriage and family. Her children are doing great. But you look at her and she's not doing great. She's falling apart at the seams. Her hair is brittle. It's breaking off. She's not giving herself the time, the energy, or the money, or the investment, because it is a lot of investment to be healthy and take care of yourself. I mean, let's just call it like it is. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of energy, and it's a lot of money to have good self-care. So we're not going to pretend that we don't know what's going on here. We have to give ourselves time to take our bath or take our shower, to use hair care products that are going to soften our hair, especially after menopause, because all the estrogen that's not on board anymore, that softens our skin and our hair, that's not there as much anymore. So now we need excellent skincare because our skin's trying to dry up because it doesn't have the estrogen. So when we use really good skincare, then it looks good. We have to use special hair care products because now our hair wants to be brittle and break off like it's hay. But when we who knows what we're talking about? I don't see anybody laughing. I should see laughing faces. Maybe there's not too many people in having menopause yet. Or I know some people don't like to talk about it, but so we have to have the excellence hair care products, and then we've got to have really good food, because pretty soon, like, our body is like, no effing way, I'm not dealing with that garbage. And it's like, when you were younger, you could get away with eating bad, but now you can't get away with it. If you don't eat good, you're just going to be a disaster. Like, your neurochemicals are going to flip out. You're not going to have enough dopamine, and you're going to go into a major depression or a major anxiety, or you're going to become manic. And you'll be like a manic depressive just because you're not eating right. By the way, you start eating nutritionally again, and all of a sudden everything starts balancing out. Your mood balances, you start acting normal again, and you now know, oh, I wasn't psychotic, I just was malnourished. Okay, so the bottom line is your self-care has to become incredibly radical for you to achieve your soul contract. It all comes back to self-care again. But if we called our television show or our academy the Self-Care Academy or the Self-Care TV show, nobody would come, because everybody's like, that word again. Because again, lots of time, lots of energy, lots of money, and lots of commitment. And when we put our time over here for ourselves, then we can't put it over here for someone else. And we as women, we naturally want to go and give to everyone else. We want to take care of our spouse, our children, our family, our neighbors, our loved ones, even our not loved ones. Sometimes we want to go out there, help the community. We're out there running around doing everything. Meanwhile, we look haggard. We're falling apart at the seams. Okay. So it's important for you to put that energy into your self-care, because here's what's going to happen. When you are balanced, and you are emotionally balanced, mentally balanced, physically balanced, and spiritually balanced, your soul contract will become very evident. So that is what divine is saying, that is a very good direct express way. If you want to hop on the express lane, to understand your soul contract and execute it, you have to hop on the self-care lane. And you do notice that when you are, if you've ever done this, now some people haven't done it yet, but if you have ever exercised radical self-care, like even if you've given yourself 1 week where you're going to be all about you and you tell your family and your loved ones and maybe even your coworkers, listen, I'm not going to keep that crazy schedule. I won't be coming out to drink and not doing cocktails on Wednesday night after work, or whatever it is that you're doing that probably isn't. And that could be your self-care, by the way. If you need social time, probably going to have some healthier cocktails, possibly if you're drinking too much alcohol or whatever. But that might be your self-care. Maybe you need to get out more and go do something fun, but you know what it is. Like, you know, the things you need and the things you need to kind of slow down or less moderation, right? So honestly, in our heart of hearts, we do know. It's just that we don't always listen to ourselves. So it's about really listening to ourselves. Because when you start listening and listening to divine and going into that self-care, even if you do it for 1 week, things are going to balance out. You're going to start finding a lot of peace and harmony and contentment. You'll see your mind is going to quiet down. The racing is going to quiet down. And as things become peaceful and harmonious in your mind and quiet now, you'll be able to hear. Because if we are not first healthy, and I mean mentally healthy, physically healthy, emotionally healthy, and spiritually healthy. And a lot of times people they forget the spiritual health part. They're like, well, I'm exercising really well, I'm eating really well, and I am doing all my meditations. So I've got all those, I've got physical covered with my exercise and my healthy eating. I have got the mental covered because I'm doing my meditation. I've got the emotional covered again because of my meditation. I even go to Camille's Academy and I do the Unleash course. So I got all that covered. But the spiritual part you don't have covered, maybe. Or it might be one of the other four, but there's those 4 parts of us because we are a spiritual being having a human experience. We're not a human being having a spiritual experience. So as a spiritual being, that's having a human experience, which means embodying this physical body that usually has 2 arms and 2 legs. I know some people don't, and a head and a neck and feet and toes and fingers and all that. That has to be taken care of properly. If we aren't nurturing the spiritual part of us, we won't be healthy. So here's the deal. If we're not healthy, then we cannot settle down to the higher, more altruistic evolution, or what's the word? Ascension. We can't settle down to the higher ascension parts of being a human being because we're still in survival. See, here's what you haven't really thought about, maybe. And some of you have, because some of you are tuning in and you're just looking for little teeny tricks and nuggets and finishing touches for your life. And you're just putting the frosting on the cake and the sprinkles and the cherry on the top of the sundae, right? You've pretty much got everything going great. You're just extra little fixes. And that's actually why you're doing well, because you know that you don't just do well and then forget everything you did to get there. You're always maintaining, because maintenance is key. So you're coming to this TV show to maintain because you're already doing great, but you're going to make sure you keep doing great. And you know that you have to keep up with the times because you know that Mother Earth is changing and ascending. And you know that the collective consciousness is upgrading and changing and ascending. And that if you just try to go take a nap and live under a rock, you're going to fall apart because you're not keeping up with what's going on. So that's why you're here at the TV show. So some of you are here for that. Others of you are here because you're not at maintenance stage yet. You're at survival stage. You're still not at that place where you're healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So you're looking to fix and get those areas all in a nice, healthy basis. Once you do that, then you can start opening up to knowing what your soul contract is, knowing what your soul purpose is, knowing what your soul lesson is, and you will be able to have it all figured out, usually within about 6 to 12 months, by the way, and sometimes faster than that. So I want you to ask yourself a question. And this is your homework for those of you who tune in with us regularly and come to all of our shows or most of them. And if you miss one live, then you'll go and watch the recording later on. Those of you who are really following it and a part of this sisterhood, this tribe of amazing women that are supporting each other on our beautiful journeys in this world, which thank you so much for trusting me to be a part of your beautiful life. I appreciate your trust in me to listen. You're investing your time and your energy and your money, because time is money, right? We give our time one place, we can't put it over here. So thank you for investing in the information in the Divine Channel that comes through to get your latest and your greatest updates to keep yourself on the cutting edge of health, wealth, happiness, and confidence. So those of you who are saying, okay, fine, I'm going to put myself together if that's why I have to do all this. Because we always think, oh, I'm such a good person. I'm self-sacrificing. I put my children first before myself. That's a sign of being a good mother. It is, but it's also a sign of a mom that's going to fall apart at some point and not be able to do it anymore. And you won't be able to have the energy to take good care of your children anymore at any age, even if they're fully adults. You know, you're still their role model. You're still their lighthouse. You're still their example. So we always want to act in a way that we would want our children to mimic us and live the way we live. Think about it for a minute, women. And some of you have children and some of you do not. However, think about it. Would you want somebody who's maybe 20, 21, 22, or your children, whatever age they are, would you want them living their life exactly the way you do right now, as far as like self-care goes? Are you fully ready to say, copy me, mimic me? Or are you going, geez, don't do what I do? Okay. If you're in that place of don't do what I do what I tell you, but not what I do, you got to fix that. You have to switch that around. And that's always a really good barometer. I know for myself, I always ask myself that, would I want my son to live the way I am thinking about living right now, that I'm going to cut back on my playtime? You know, because there are times where I'm like, oh, I got so much work to do this week. I really should cut out that playtime so I can get the work done. And then I'm like, Camille, you can't do that to yourself. You cut out the playtime and pretty soon it'll become a habit. And you know that when it's all work and no play, you start getting lack of energy. You start getting drained. You're kind of like, you're not happy anymore. You're not bright and full of joy because you're doing too much work and not enough relaxation. You're not getting enough rewards. And you are the only one that can give yourself rewards. You're an adult. You decide if you're going to go to work, sign up for these extra hours or not, right? Even if you have a job, I mean, you still decide what job to work and what positions to hold, because, you know, sometimes we have an escape plan, right, of how we're going to work our way out of that job and into a different job or into our own business or whatever, right? So, you know, even if our plan takes 2 years, you're happier in your head knowing that you're on a plan, as long as you have a strategic plan. I know there have been many things that I've accomplished in my life, but I've accomplished them after creating a strategic plan and then executing it, and sometimes taking 2 to 5 years. In fact, there's one plan I'm just about ready to finish the completion of, and this has been a 20-year plan. I'm just about ready to finish it. So I am getting super excited and I'm just kind of like, stay calm, stay calm. We're almost there. We're almost there. Ah! Like that, you know, so we have strategic plans for all different goals that we have in our life, right? Well, guess what? Here's the deal. If you feel that you're 100% at the place, or 80%, because 80% is 100. We always say, as long as you're 80%, that is perfect. Perfection is really not possible. And we shouldn't hold ourselves to that, because it's going to cause usually a lot of self sabotage and self ridicule usually. So as long as we're at 80%, we're good. Okay. So if you feel like I'm at 80% of doing everything self-care wise, so that I am physically healthy, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, and spiritually healthy, then you're in that good place where you're going to be able to easily understand your soul contract, easily understand your soul lesson, your soul purpose, and be able to execute it. Why would you want to do that? Because when you are executing your soul contract, your soul purpose, and it's because you learned your soul lesson, by the way. And normally we do learn it within the first 20 or 30 years of our life. Some people learn it earlier. Some people learn it later. We all have a different schedule. It's all in divine timing and divine order. But once you've gotten to the point of really learning your soul lesson, then you're able to execute your soul purpose and accomplish the contract of what you said to God. Okay, I'll do that. Because that's what the soul contract is. Those of you who have hung in there with me for the first half of the show, when we're in heaven, we're working with divine, we're working with our soul family, and we say, okay, I'm going to learn the soul lesson of compassion. My soul purpose is going to be that I'm going to raise the feminine vibration on the planet Earth so that there is a more of a balance of the feminine, the masculine. And how I'm going to do that is in the way in which I find that's going to be most blissful and that I'm drawn to, but I know that. Okay, you can obviously see that that is one of the things that I contracted for and that my soul purpose is, because I am on the Win-Win Women Network. I am working with women to raise the feminine vibration of the planet so that it matches up with the masculine vibration. I mean, I didn't even have it in my lifespan. It wasn't in my goals list. Someday I am going to marry a woman. That was not on my goals list. But as I opened up and asked God for who is my divine equal spouse, please give me my partner. I'm sick and tired of being single, because I ended up divorced a long time ago. And then I was single for a long time. Thankfully, I've been remarried for 6 years now. But that space of 14 years of dating all these people, trying to figure out, and none of it being right, I finally was like, who am I supposed to be married to? My divine partner. And I started seeing the picture of a woman, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But I had already known that my soul purpose was to raise the feminine, the divine feminine energy on the planet in order to help it match with the masculine. Because when the feminine and the masculine are balanced, that's where there's peace and harmony in relationships. Like when you're married, your heterosexual relationships are just as much about masculine and feminine as your same sex, because there's feminine and masculine energy in every human being. Okay. So some have more of one or the other, but it's still the dance of the feminine and the masculine in any relationship, whether it's platonic, and even with like a mother and a daughter, or a father and his son, any relationship, your neighbor down the street, when you interact with your neighbor down the street, the feminine and the masculine are still doing the dance, no matter if that neighbor is a man or a woman. And when the feminine and the masculine dance balanced, it's a very peaceful relationship. But if one of them is way stronger than the other one, then it gets out of sorts and it doesn't work very well. And so it's knowing how to do the dance, right? So I found out that that's who I was supposed to marry. No wonder it took me so long to get married, because I wasn't even thinking that way. I wasn't even asking God, who am I supposed to be married to? Now, for those of you who are looking for your spouse right now and you're single, please don't go, oh, that's what it is, I have to marry a woman. That does not mean that at all, please. And if you go around going, Camille said that, I am going to be very upset with you because I did not say that. In fact, I've had some people go, well, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do, marry a woman. I'm like, probably not. I wouldn't just put a default to that. Okay, there's a lot more to it than just that. So let's get off that topic, but I wanted to clarify that apparently through the channel, there was people that might have been clicking and thinking this. So they wanted to clear that up. So anyway, I then understood, oh, now I get it. I mean, if you're supposed to raise the divine feminine energy on the planet, and have it have a huge ripple effect, well, of course, you probably, if you were a woman married to a woman, that would probably be very effective. Didn't mean I understood that back when I didn't understand it. And again, that's just one thing. How your soul contract is accomplished and your soul purpose is not fully related to who you're married to or not married to. That is only one aspect. There's a ton of others. So don't just start going, oh, it's all around who I'm married to. No, it's not. It's one aspect. Okay. So here's what I am going to offer you, because I asked Divine, well, since there's no formula to give them at this juncture, what can I give them? Because now here, how do we do a show and say, you need to know your soul contract, and then go, oh, sorry, we can't tell you how to do it. I mean, that's terrible. I go, I'm not even doing this show if you don't give me what I'm supposed to offer them. And because I do have arguments with Divine as I'm channeling, as many of you know who've tuned into my shows before. And what I was told is that I can offer you to do a soul contract reading for you, because I get them all the time very accurately when that is the topic of the reading. I have never offered soul contract readings before as a group thing. I normally do them for a private one-on-one client that we're on a 1-year journey together and we're working on these humongous goals and we're like banging our head against the wall and it's like, geez, we got to find out your soul contract. Now what Divine is saying is we're not just going to use this for like big projects that you're working on with a client for 1 or 2 years where you meet with them every week. And my 1-year contracts are $65,000 for the year. Okay. So they're not going to be just for that anymore. They're going to be offered as a session temporarily. This is not something I'll be able to do forever and ever because my time is very limited. My business has grown exponentially. We've doubled what we have been doing last year. Not only in our income revenue, but in our student base, in our academy, and in our client base, in our agency. So with that said, what I was asked to do is offer it at a really awesome special. And that is on, it's normally a 1-hour session. And this type of a soul contract reading, which I don't normally do as a one-off thing, where it's like, yep, we're just going to do it for that. Like I said, if I had to put a price point on it, it would normally be $2,500 and there would be a before homework thing and an after homework thing. And we would make it like a whole program. However, what Divine has said is, no, you don't have to do all that. You can do a session for them. It's going to be anywhere from 1 to 2 hours based on what's going to come through. And you can offer it for the 1-hour $555 offer that you have on your website on the divineceochat.com, where there's a little questionnaire to fill out. So that's what we're offering right now for the first 10 people who sign up, because I'm going to do 10 of them. Okay. That's what they have said to offer. And then they said that after the 10 private one-on-ones, people who want to do it past 10, we're going to have to come up with a whole different plan because my calendar really can't fit more than 10. So I'm like, well, what are we going to do about that? They said, shut up and just do what I told you. Now my angels know how to just kind of like anchor me around when we're getting ready for the day in the morning time when I check in with them. And I have a really good relationship because I talk to them every day. And I always encourage all of you to do the same thing. And, for me, sometimes I just have to be told, shut up and do what you're told, because that's kind of just refocuses me, because I'm always asking lots of questions. But what about this? But what about that? And I've grown really accustomed to that. It all works out really great, so that I have grown to the fact to trust my divine connection. I didn't always trust it in the beginning. And I certainly fought with it a lot more. And I was scared and terrified a lot of the times to even take a leap of faith. If you're scared and terrified, that's okay. It'll get better if you just keep going. So go to my website page, divineceochat.com. In fact, if somebody could put that in the chat line right now for me, and you can sign up for the $555 it's called a miracle strategy reading in there, but we're going to do, oh, good. Somebody put it in there, the Camille Conti support. Thank you. Go in there, fill out the little questionnaire, pay the $555. And for the first 4 people who sign up for the $555 that are coming in August to my Faith and Inspiration Conference in Rochester, New York, you can get yours done in person with me, and we'll find a time slot that works where you'll come to my non-surgery wellness center and be able to lay on my massage table or in my reclining massage. I have a brand new chair that reclines and it's heated and massages and the whole thing. So you can lay in my chair or lay on the massage table, and we will work together in person for the first 4 people who sign up and purchase it on my divineceochat.com. And that way I'm going to write it down and give you a printout. You will have a printout of your soul contract. So if you would like a written printout of what your soul contract is and what you are wired to do in your life, then sign up with me and go to my website and get it all set up. and the first 4 will see me in person in Rochester. And by the way, even if you weren't coming to the Faith and Inspiration Hypnosis Conference, which is August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It's actually the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The 1st is move-in day to get into your hotel room. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where you're getting your training for your hypnosis certification, then you can still sign up and come to my non-surgery wellness center, even if you're not coming for the event. And we'll schedule it for a different time for the first 4 people. Because I have a lot of people that drive from out of state or fly in from out of state to come and see me all the time. And so either way, you'll get to come and see me in person, whether you're coming to the conference or not. So go ahead, sign up for that, and we will do the soul contract reading for you. We'll give you a typed out or a handwritten in a very nice, I have my brand new, beautiful stationery for my agency, and it'll be official, and you'll have your soul contract official printout. Who's excited about that? Who's like, oh my God, that would quicken my path to being healthy and living a life that's confident, healthy, happy, fulfilling. Who's excited about that? Okay, awesome. All right, so our next TV show is coming up. We have a nice schedule of when we do our television shows, and I've sent it out to many of you, and it's on July 25th, and we are doing the 3 miracles of menopause. And for those of you who would love to sign up for our text reminders, if you are not getting a reminder about our TV show the morning of, then sign up for our text. And if our Camille Conti support, could you put the ad in there? We made an ad. I'm speaking in November in New Hampshire at this humongous Natural Living Expo. And we have an ad where you've got a little QR code that you can go in and you can fill out so that you can get into my text system where you get reminders. And then if you want to get into my email system, you can hit the QR code that says to take the free quiz. Because if you take our free quiz on what kind of divine channel are you, and you put your email in at the end to get the full report of what kind of divine channel are you, you'll be in our email system and you'll get all the emails that we send out, which isn't a lot, by the way. We don't overkill for sure. Probably we do less than we should instead of more. So go ahead, and if you could screen share that for me, if the Camille Conti staff, I don't know if it allows screen share in my TV show here. I'm in the Win-Win Women Network. They don't let us get on air until the 11 a.m. I don't, they've got some different things. So let's see if we're able to. Can you put the link in there for my Camille Conti support? Can you put the link in there for the, well, you did actually. If you guys hit the link, then their QR code is there. You can get the reminders on your text, and then you'll know when our TV shows are happening. But I'm looking forward to seeing all of you come back on July 25th for our recorded show, and then hop into the interactive part where it's non-recorded. And that's what we're about to do now. So thank you for showing up today. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll see you next time on New York's Divine Channel. You can have it all.